What is going on, guys? My name is Vinny Vega and welcome to my first PC build video. This PC will be good for gaming, video rendering, and editing, and I know that from personal experience because this is my personal computer. This is an $800 build. This build also includes mouse and keyboard and Windows as well. And there are a couple things I want to mention before I get into it. Now, I know in the PC part picker link that I got down below, it does say roughly $950. Trust me when I say this, that's what I was looking at when I was first building this PC, and I ended up paying around $760 when everything was said and done. And because it's my personal PC, I will show you some benchmarks on the FPS meter as well. I did choose CSGO and Battlefield 4 for the benchmarks on that. If this happens to be your first build, don't be scared to do it, because if I can do it, you can do it. I put this together myself, and if you happen to have somebody that can oversee the project that has a little bit of experience in this department, then have them come over as well to help you out. Okay, before I ramble on any further, let's get right into this build. Now, for the processor, I went with the AMD FX 8350. This is an 8-core processor at 4 GHz, and I gotta say, this is a very solid CPU, and you can get this for around $170. And this is an overclockable CPU, and it does say in the box that you can overclock to about 5 GHz, but it's really around 4.7 if you want a stable overclock. And keep in mind too, when you're building your PC, if you get an overclockable CPU, make sure your motherboard is overclockable as well, and the one in this build is. And also, especially for gaming, I highly recommend that you get a aftermarket CPU cooler, because the stock CPU cooler will not cool your system good enough. So for the CPU cooler, I went with the Cooler Master Hyper 212 Evo, and you can get this for around $30, give or take, depending on where you go. Now for the motherboard, I went with the Gigabyte 990FXA UD3 Revision 4. This is an awesome motherboard. It has plenty of USB, some USB 3.0s as well, crossfire support, enough room for up to 32 gigs of RAM for about $100. But you should definitely get your CPU and motherboard as a combo, and most places will have a combo deal for that, whether it's Newegg, Amazon, or I happen to get my motherboard and CPU from the Micro Center that just so happens to be 30 minutes from my house. I got the motherboard and the CPU for $220 total. For the RAM, I chose the G-Skill Ripjaws X Series, DDR3 2133 MHz, and you get this for around $60. RAM prices are constantly going up and down, and usually on a daily basis. So look out for those deals on that as well. See where I'm going with this? Every little bit counts. You can save $5, $10, $20, sometimes more as you're going along with your PC build. From what I've seen so far, 8 gigs is still very efficient when it comes to running Sony Vegas. When it comes to gaming, 8 gigs is plenty as well. Games aren't really utilizing more than like 6 gigs of RAM as it is. For the hard drive, I went with the Western Digital Blue 1TB hard drive with 7200 RPM, 64 cache for around $48. This is a great deal for this hard drive, and I'm sure you heard a lot of people recommend this hard drive, and for good reason. Now for the graphics card, I went with the Sapphire Radeon R9 280X, 3 gigs of video RAM, and you can get this for around $210. And when I got this, I got it for like $170, and you could probably find it for around that same price. This is a very good mid-tier card, and you're not going to max out every single game and still have 60 frames per second, but you're going to get a very solid performance and still go over 30-40 frames at least. In fact, Battlefield 4, I was really shocked to see how the ultra settings didn't really beat up this card too much, and that's just on regular clock. This is a overclock edition at 950 megahertz, but it can overclock up to 1250. And when I ran the test, I just ran it on base clock just to show you guys what it can run, just on normal mode basically. And of course, you're going to need a power supply to run this system, and this power supply is overkill. I went with the Corsair CX 750 watt 80 plus bronze for around $60. Like I said, this is overkill. This system's probably not running more than 450 watts. You could probably save yourself like 20 bucks just by going with a 550 watt power supply instead. But keep in mind that you don't want to cheap out on the power supply. This is pretty much the heart of your system. If your power supply goes, chances are it's going to take something with it, and it's going to be completely random. It might say, oh, I'll take out your motherboard with me, or graphics card. It could take out multiple things if the power supply fails. So it's important to get more than what you need, and also to have something that's at least 80 plus bronze certified. The parts that you buy will show the wattage that it produces, and you can see what your total wattage is before you buy a power supply. So just do a little bit of research on that. The reason why I went with the 750 is so I have the ability to upgrade to a beefier graphics card in the future. I did pick up an optical drive as well. I got a LG one, just a basic DVD CD writer for like 20 bucks. Nothing special. If you want to burn some CDs or DVDs, you got what you need. For the case, I went with the Deep Cool Tesseract SW-ATX mid tower case for $40. This is a very solid case for $40, and it doesn't look too bad either. You got the little side window to show off your parts. It comes with 2 blue LED fans, and it has plenty of upgradability. You can add 2 120mm fans on the side. You can also add 2 120mm fans on the top as well. And on the front of the case, it features your standard power button and reset button, a USB 3.0, a USB 2.0, and a microphone and a headphone jack. A lot of space in this case too, plenty of room for extra hard drives, solid state drives, more than enough room for a decent sized graphics card as well. For the operating system, I picked up a standard Windows 8.1. I got this for around $80. So recently, this past week, I've seen Windows 8.1 for like 60 bucks. So there's definitely some decent deals out there. I believe that was on Amazon that I seen it on. For the keyboard, I went with the Cooler Master CM Storm Devastator. This is a $28 keyboard, and it also comes bundled with the mouse as well. This is just a straight membrane keyboard, and it has a backlight to it. You can either choose blue or green, I believe, and I went with blue for obvious reasons. For being at this price point, this is actually a pretty decent keyboard. I mean, you push a key and it works, and it's not too terrible. That's all, and it looks nice. So for $28, I mean, it's definitely a pretty decent deal for a starter keyboard. But the mouse did seem kind of flimsy in a way, so I did opt to buy another mouse, and I went with the Razer DefAdder Chroma. This is for $52. It has complete remappable buttons on it, color changes to whatever color you want. Once again, I went with blue out of the color scheme that I had to choose from. This is definitely a really solid mouse. It's super comfortable, it's spot on accurate. I mean, it's just great. Not much more I can really say about it, really. This video has definitely gone on longer than I intended it to, so let's move right on to the benchmarks. For CSGO, this is max settings, motion blur turned off, MSAA times 4, and you can see the frame counter on the top left corner of the screen. This is Battlefield 4 on ultra settings, MSAA times 4, anti-aliasing post turned off, ambient occlusion turned off, and motion blur turned off. The frame counter is in the top right corner of the screen. I have a couple clips of Battlefield 4 simply because there were some different variations depending on the map and what's going on.
Objective Bravo.
In conclusion, this is a very solid build for $800. And like I said, the GPU in this build is more of a mid-tier card. So for the latest games and the games that are coming out later this year, it's not going to max out every game and run at 60 frames per second. As you can see in Battlefield 4, it ran very smooth and I didn't go under 30 frames per second in any of those clips. And again, I apologize for the timing of this video. I meant to have it a lot shorter than what it is. This is my first PC build video, and if you guys liked it and you want me to do some more, leave a comment down below on what you want me to do, and I'll try to make a video out of it. Hope you guys have a badass day today, and I'll see you on the next one.